I was replaced by a diverse woman. They were taking all my favorite people.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Hey there, this is Eileen. Buckle up because things are
heating
heating up in Hollywood. Rachel Zegler found herself at the center of a storm she never saw coming. SouthPark just unleashed its razor-sharp satire, tearing into Disney's SnowWhite remake and its star with their latest episode, The Pandaverse. The roast? Brutal. The laughs? Relentless. The impact? Absolutely shocking. This time, SouthPark isn't pulling any punches, tackling Disney's controversial trend of reimagining classics head-on. Picture this: iconic characters like Cartman and Stan hilariously transformed into adult women of color, all to shine a glaring spotlight on race and gender swapping in Hollywood. It wasn't just satire, it was a full-scale takedown of Disney's latest moves. And at the heart of it all, SnowWhite. The casting of Rachel Zegler and the bold story overhaul had already stirred the pot, but SouthPark just threw gasoline on the fire. Fans have been vocal for years about the so-called modernization of beloved tales, and this episode hit home with its message. So why did this roast hit so hard? Why is Rachel Zegler in tears, and what's fueling the heated debates? Stick around, because we're diving into the drama that's shaking up Disney and Hollywood alike.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. It's really not about.
Let's rewind to where it all began.
Really
the original SnowWhite hit screens in 1937, a true classic of its time. But Disney's remake? Oh, it's taking a wild detour. Forget the charming love story that defined generations. This new version throws all of that out the window. Fans were left scratching their heads, wondering, wait, is this even the same story anymore? And let's talk about the prince. Another beloved part of the original, practically erased. Romance, which was at the heart of the classic tale, was replaced with a narrative so different that fans barely recognized it. Was this bold innovation? Hardly. For many, it felt like Disney had tossed aside everything that made SnowWhite magical in the first place. But here's where things really caught fire: Rachel Zegler's interviews. Her comments about the original being outdated and problematic struck a nerve, alienating fans who cherished the timeless charm of the story. What was meant to be a reimagining felt like a dismissal of a tale that had touched hearts for decades. And just like that, the backlash reached a fever pitch.
Does this mean that it's no longer 1937? And so
the big question on
really
everyone's mind, were these changes necessary to make SnowWhite relevant for today, or did they strip the story of its heart and soul? Rachel Zegler's portrayal was supposed to be a bold new direction for Disney, but her interviews, they left fans anything but excited. Instead of celebrating the chance to bring a beloved character to life, Rachel's comments felt dismissive, almost like she wasn't on board with the magic of the original story at all. In one jaw-dropping instance, she labeled the classic tale outdated and suggested its themes no longer resonated. And the kicker? She joked about the snacks on set being apple-flavored, a remark some fans saw as mocking the iconic symbolism of the poisoned apple. Ouch. But the real mic drop moment came when Rachel hinted that the prince's role had been drastically reduced. Fans were floored, asking, is this even SnowWhite anymore? Instead of excitement, there was frustration, as it felt like the remake wasn't just reimagining the classic, it was tearing it down without the respect it deserved.
I didn't do that this time.
So no prince, or a different kind of prince?
And then
it's
came
really not
the ultimate
about
joke.
the love story.
Rachel quipped about cutting the prince's scenes altogether. For many fans, this felt like a total dismissal of the romance that was central to the original SnowWhite. The backlash was immediate, with social media erupting as fans accused the remake of erasing the very essence of the beloved story. Instead of celebrating the timeless themes of love, kindness, and courage, the film seemed laser-focused on modernizing the narrative at all costs. Fans weren't just frustrated, they felt betrayed. Was Rachel's approach a bold step toward creative freedom, or was it proof of a deeper disconnect from everything that made Snow White a classic? The debate raged on, with people questioning whether this remake truly honored the spirit of the original or catered to an agenda instead of authentic storytelling. This isn't just about one movie, it's about a bigger issue in Hollywood. Fans aren't against change. Far from it. They're asking for changes that add value without losing what made these stories resonate for generations. Take the Little Mermaid remake, for instance. While Halle Bailey's casting sparked its own discussions, the film stayed true to the heart of the original tale, allowing fans to connect with its magic. But Snow White, it didn't follow that path. Removing the 7 dwarfs and sidelining the prince were not just minor tweaks. They were fundamental changes that stripped away the story's charm. The internet became a battleground, with defenders and critics clashing over Disney's decisions. For many, it felt like the studio had lost touch with its own legacy. So, Mike, now the question is, where does Disney go from here? Can they strike a balance between innovation and authenticity? Or are remakes destined to face backlash for feeling disconnected from their roots? SouthPark's Panderverse didn't just deliver laughs, it delivered a scathing critique of Hollywood's current storytelling trends, holding up a mirror to the choices that left so many fans disheartened.
I was scared of the original cartoon.
SouthPark didn't hold back, pointing out how hollow changes can feel when they prioritize optics over substance. And wow, the satire wasn't subtle. By reimagining Cartman, Stan, and the gang as diverse adult women, the show hilariously mirrored Disney's approach to Snow White. The message was loud and clear. Diversity and inclusion should be authentic, not forced. Hey. This episode hit home for fans already frustrated with Disney's direction. SouthPark didn't just poke fun, it held up a mirror to Hollywood's creative decisions, showing the consequences of prioritizing superficial changes over meaningful storytelling. And the timing? Brutal. Rumors are swirling that Disney may be trying to prevent future episodes like this from airing. A sign that the critique hit a nerve. But will Disney take this moment to reflect, or will it double down on... The uproar over Snow White isn't an isolated event. It's part of a bigger conversation about Hollywood's growing reliance on remakes and reboots. Fans aren't against change, they crave it. But the changes have to honor the story's soul. When adaptations stray too far, they risk losing the magic that made them timeless. One of the loudest criticisms of Disney's approach is the perception that they're making changes to check boxes rather than to enrich the narrative. Fans argue that this pursuit of trends often sacrifices authenticity, leaving the story feeling disconnected and hollow. SouthPark's exaggerated character transformations perfectly highlighted this issue, showing how surface-level changes miss the mark. And it's not just fans speaking up. Industry insiders and critics have voiced concerns about Hollywood's obsession with reimagining classics instead of crafting original stories. Sure, there's value in bringing beloved tales to new generations, but only if they respect what made those stories resonate in the first place. And in the end, it's all about balance. Can Hollywood embrace change in a way that adds depth, meaning, and value? Or will they keep missing the mark? Fans are eager to see adaptations that stay true to the spirit of the originals while reflecting today's world. Will the industry rise to the challenge, or will it face more backlash? The backlash to Disney's Snow White remake and SouthPark's biting satire have sparked a conversation Hollywood can't ignore. Are these changes progress, or are they erasing the magic of classic tales? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Should Disney rethink its approach, or is this just the new era of filmmaking? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more deep dives into Hollywood's biggest controversies. We've got all the drama right here.